life with someone, the end goal is you two together.
Agreed.
So why cheat?
I know, I understand where you're coming from. My point is that relationships and life is full of double standards as a whole. A man's going to pay for everything everywhere you go, right? This is his duty as a man. Do you agree?
No, I do like traditional.
Okay, so you agree. So you're traditional, right? So if you want to talk about traditional, let's talk about tradition. Every single man since the dawn of human time had more than one woman. Every single king, every single emperor, every single sultan, every single conqueror since the dawn of human time had more than one woman. All of them. Every single one. Read his.
I got to remember, I actually pulled this from Dr. Hector Garcia. That's really where this is all coming from. What has defined powerful men in the past is territory, resources, and access to beautiful women.
History book. Read the Bible. It's all in there. The Quran, all of it. You want to talk about tradition, it's all there. The only reason your mind is different, the only reason you believe differently is because of society. Society's come along and told you something.
Yeah, but society, we can change. Like the world evolves, things change.
The world evolves, yeah, that's right. Now men cut their dicks off and their chicks. You believe in this shit? You got the vaccine? You believe in any of this crap? It's all a lie.
I feel like life's about choices.
Life is about choices, correct. My point is this. If I had a woman, I would decide not to cheat because I decide. However, I would not see my infidelity as nearly anywhere near even 1% as disgusting as female infidelity, because female infidelity involves emotion. You will not sleep with a man you don't like. I can sleep with a woman I don't like. It's a completely different thing. I can be head over heels in love with a woman, ready to die for her, ready to take a bullet for her, protect her, give her all the money in the world, make sure she has a beautiful family, a nice big house, all of it. And I'll still fuck that bitch. Watch me. A woman won't do that. So don't lie to me and pretend. No, you won't. Any woman who will sit here and say, I can fuck dudes and not care about them is fundamentally broken. Her soul is broken.
Okay, well, she's broken then, but she's still doing it.
Well, if she's broken, she ain't anywhere near me. I don't want no broken bitch near me.
Catch that? Escalate. Even he raises his voice, right? Obviously, but he escalates the emotional appeal, right? That's disgusting. Looking for approval from the congregation, right? Exactly what certainly Baptist ministers have been using for a speech technique for a very long time. Okay, she's going to protest against this because it goes against her sort of like strong, independent woman narrative. She's very locked into this. There's absolutely no way on planet Earth that he would ever entertain having sex with this chick or ever having a relationship. He probably would not even make Shion will most likely not even make Shion a plate to spin. But he's making an example of her. And this is a really good example of good game. Also, he is making that mass appeal. He's appealing to the congregation. Then he comes and brings it back down and says, here's why it's important. Right. So he's made some very good points here. She's going to it's going to grate on her soul in a moment. But the fact that he's like, this is disgusting. You're discussing. And then he also makes a good point here as well, which has been in the red pill, communities for a very long time, is that hell, even evolutionary psychology, men and women cheat for different reasons. Men cheat because it's like opportunity, right? Men cheat because it's a physical thing. Women cheat because it's an emotional thing. And so for women, when women are looking for a guy outside of the relationship, it's usually because she's trying to get something that she can't get inside the relationship. So for instance, and I've said this before, I'll just repeat this really quickly here, is that when a woman cheats, the man is more concerned about, where did you bang him? Was it on her bed? Was it in the kitchen? Was it in the bathroom? Is his dick bigger than mine? Blah, blah, blah. It's always, it's like, I've heard guys say this. They'll say, oh, it's all about whether or not the guy had a bigger dick or he like banged her in a different way. And in a sense, that's true. That's part of it for sure. But it's also about location. It's also about determining like what the act entailed. And women lose their shit on that because like, no, why is that important? Bah! And if you look at series where there are describing infidelity on the part of a woman, the guy usually loses his shit about the physical aspect of it. Whereas in women, you want to know why women are more forgiving of a man cheating is because it's not about the sex so much as it's about loss of resources, loss of investment, loss of the three Ps, like provisioning, protection, and parental investment. That's what women focus on when it comes to infidelity. It's not so much about like banging another chick, right? I mean, yeah, that might just take one girl, right? Well, that's the act, and so I'm done, blah, blah, blah. The other thing is when women are far more likely to forgive a man cheating than a man is to forgive a woman of cheating, because for men, their primary interest in that infidelity is the kid mine? Men and women are different. Yes, they definitely are, and we have different mating strategies, and they're adversarial. So when you've got these two people who have agreed to compromise those mating strategies, it's a breach of trust, and not just trust, but it's a breach of that contract, or that unspoken contract, or whatever it is, whatever you want to say. So as I've said before, and this is you'll find this in book 5. You'll also find it in, I want to say it's in book 2 as well. The cardinal rule of sexual strategies is that for one sex's sexual strategy to be successful, to be fulfilled, the other must compromise or abandon their own. And for right now, in a gynocentric social order, that means most beta males have to abandon it altogether. And this is why you have this conflict between a guy like Tate and a chick like this. Her interest right now at 33 years old as a single mother, she is very much looking for a guy who has the 3 Ps, right? He's got to be hot and fun and everything else, but she's much more concerned with protection, provisioning, and parental investment for her child that was, sired by another man, right? So that's why she's like, well, I wouldn't want a man to go and cheat. Yeah, but because she's more worried about the loss of investment, and especially at her age, very, very comes to the fore, emphasized, highlighted right now, to worry about loss of investment. She just mentioned a minute ago, if you and I were together, okay, so you're saying it's okay for you to cheat. Well, he's saying, if I don't cheat, it's because I have such an investment in you, and you should appreciate that. That's where I come from, by the way, as well. So when people say, well, Rollo, do you agree with Kevin Samuels saying, a high-value man deserves to cheat, or he gets to cheat, or he should cheat, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, high-value guys are the guys that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. And as I said on this show, and God knows how many other shows, I've also said as well, is like women love a man who could cheat. They don't want a man to cheat. They love a man who could cheat. And so do you think for a moment, if all her girlfriends and all her sisters and all whatever else are saying, you know what, Mrs. Tomasi, man, your role is looking really hot, and if you don't want him, I'm gonna get him. You're so lucky to be with that guy. You have such a great relationship. I can't believe that, because here's a guy who could go out there and actually cheat on you if he wanted to, but he doesn't, because he loves you, because he has an investment in you, because he has something that is special with you. Right? He could, the opportunity is there. When Jordan Peterson talks about and even Tate here talks about how like a guy who is a dangerous man is the guy who is like, he has the capacity for violence. He's a black belt, but he chooses not to use it, or he only uses it in the situations that are the most dire. Well, you'll never know that if you just look at a guy, right? People don't understand that there is the difference between cowardice and like self-control is a curb this high. It's splitting hairs, because if you don't know that Andrew Tate is already an MMA champion, or you don't know that like John Fitch has won, championship belts, and you just see him in the 7-Eleven, you probably think especially, sorry, John, I didn't mean to tell you out, but if you look at him, he looks like he's from Easy Rider. You think he seems like an easy mark, but he probably would kick your ass, right? But you won't appreciate that unless he kicks your ass. So there has to be some sort of there has to be some sort of third-party confirmation. That's where Dredd comes from, right? She appreciates me because she knows that I'm a guy that other women find attractive, and that I'm also a guy that other guys want to be. She appreciates that, and that's how that makes for a much healthier relationship than walking on eggshells, than worrying about my next words that come out of my mouth, right? I would much rather say, you know what? The proof's in the pudding. The proof's in my bank account. The proof's in my body. The proof's in the last 25 years that I've lived, right? Like, people throw this at me all the time. They'll go, Rollo, well, if you were really a high-value man, you wouldn't be married for so long. You can't be a red pill. You're married. You can't be married. You're a red pill. What do you want me to do? Divorce my wife so that I can like appeal to you that much better? Like, I'll be a more alpha dude if I do that? Or would I be less of an alpha for doing that because I'm abandoning my wife and my investment, my commitments and everything else? See, yeah, it's a Kobayashi Maru, right? There's no way to win that situation. The way that you win that is you understand that you're a black belt and you can use that black belt when you want to. It's not cowardice to say, you know what? I could have multiple women. I could go out and cheat on my wife. I could go and do these things. I choose not to, because I have a strong relationship with my wife. I have a strong relationship with my family. My dogs would look down on me if I did something like that. You guys certainly would too, right? Well, it's not about social pressure. It's the fact that that's what I choose to do. It's a lifestyle choice at that point. I have no reason to. But the thing is, what makes you desirable, what makes you a high quality guy is still the same thing. They don't want a man to cheat, but they love a man who could cheat. If you're the kind of guy who doesn't have a black belt If you're a white belt and you want to go and you want to say, well, I'm the guy that can go and kick any black belt's ass, right? But you're a white belt. That means a lot up until the point where you have to get in the ring with a black belt. When Jordan Peterson's talking about, dangerous men, we need more dangerous men because, weak men are screwing things up. Well, the problem is you can't tell who the dangerous men are and who they aren't right now. Guy, like I said, a guy might deceive you. He might be, and you don't know the difference. But a guy walks away from a fight. If he's a black belt and he's a black belt, you go, whoa, man, that took a lot of self-control on his part. And the dude. But if you don't, you're like, what a pussy. So cowardice and competence are all dependent upon whether or not you know that person's character and you know that person's background. And today, you simply don't know that, particularly in the age of social media.